Remember how I said people should watch Futurama as a remedy for the negative crap in the world? I think it's time for me to take my own advice. I've already reviewed 2 of the 4 Futurama movies. The first in the series, which I thought was the best, and before that was the last one, which I claimed to be the worst. And yet, I got quite a few comments from people saying they thought the second movie, The Beast with a Billion Backs, was the actual worst of the 4 Futurama movies. Really? This one is worse than Into the Wild Green Yonder? I never saw it that way. But I guess there's only one way to find out for sure. The movie begins where the last one left off, with the rift opening up in space from Bender creating the biggest time paradox in history. And then, okay, I will admit this intro may make the least amount of sense of the 4. The title is like something out of a late-night horror movie, so for the intro we get a parody of Steamboat Willie?
How scared should we be?
He is somewhere between not at all and entirely.
I call entirely.
Damn it, Zoidberg! I want it entirely! Now I gotta sell for almost entirely!
And now, with sports, here's SportsBot 5000.
All sports cancelled.
Oh crap, when they've canceled Blurns Ball, you know it's gotten serious. As the professor continues to fail at diagnosing the rift, we see that Fry suddenly has a girlfriend, and that Amy and Kif are getting married, I think. They use a lot of alien jibber-jabber. And nerds everywhere bang their heads at frustration at more fictional characters getting action before they did. The ceremony takes place on Kif's homeworld, which I'm almost certain I've seen on RuneScape at one point in time. After a ceremony of weirdness and Fry announcing he's moving in with his girl, which Bender isn't taking well, we finally get back to the anomaly. Farnsworth and his arch-rival Wernstrom both want to lead a team to explore the rift, so they have to settle their differences like men of science in a death ball tournament. Jeez, if that's what happens in the world of science, I might have considered majoring. My college advisors lied to me.
Come on, Bender. Your grandmother could push harder than that.
No crap. My grandmother was a bulldozer.
So Farnsworth's team wins the match that's certainly a heck of a lot more entertaining than the NFL playoffs were. But at the end of the match, Fry finds out that his girlfriend Colleen is a little bit of a tramp, as she has 4 other boyfriends and they all live together under one roof.
You're just here because she likes cavemen from the stupid ages.
Oh, look who's talking. You're just here because she got matzo fever.
So, what's the explanation for you? Moron fever?
Enough, all of you!
You know, this still might make a better sitcom than The Big Bang Theory.
I thought I was okay with this, but I'm not. I'm breaking up with you.
Meanwhile, the Planet Express crew goes out into space and sends out Bender to check the rift, and he says they'll be hearing from something called the League of Robots that I'm sure we won't hear about again in this movie.
Hey, other universe, bite my shiny metal leg!
And then after Bender gets a visit from his favorite actor Calculon in the hospital, he has a new life's meaning.
I'm gonna be a stalker.
That's not really a career, more of a felony.
So it's perfect for Bender. At this point, Farnsworth is finally willing to listen to what Wernstrom was trying to tell him about the rift. To explain it in Bender's words, machines can't enter the rift, but meatbags can. Both scientists want to send another research team out there, but of course President Nixon has other ideas.
To kill him so we don't have to learn his language or his new way of looking at things.
Yeah, Earth is screwed. Now it is at this point that maybe I can see where some people might have had problems with this movie, because it's really split off into at least 3 different storylines that it has to keep switching back and forth to. And yes, they do eventually all converge back together, but we'll get to that. While the Earth military plans an attack on the rift, Bender's stalking of Calculon ultimately leads him to the League of Robots he'd been talking about. Meanwhile, Fry has become so depressed about breaking up with Colleen that he stows away on the Nimbus in order to pass through the rift and leave our universe forever. Oh yeah, and Kif dies as the attack from the Nimbus is botched, because you knew that was gonna happen. Shortly thereafter, tentacles start coming out of the rift and attacking people! Oh great, I know we've been outsourcing our animation to the Far East for years, but at least they were gracious enough to keep this stuff out of it!
The battle has been bravely fought, and the suffering of our troops beyond measure. But the alien is invulnerable, and and our defeat inevitable.
And so the solution is to encase the Earth in a diamond shield that Wernstrom insists is absolutely impenetrable. Okay, so the military and the scientists failed to stop this thing. Maybe the robots can. Oh, Bender is planning to take over the League of Robots so we can kill all humans. Yeah, humanity's fracked.
Sweet squid of Madrid! The tentacle got fried!
Did any of us even notice Fry was gone?
Thou shalt love the tentacle!
Yeah, we're in hentai territory for sure now. So the tentacle starts taking over everyone's minds while Fry tries to tell them all that the tentacle loves them. And yeah, the third act is something that probably could fit into a movie that Joel and the bots would riff.
Say, I love the tentacle.
I also love the neck-a-majigger.
I mean, I'll admit it, this thing is absolutely getting very creepy and disturbing, and I just don't understand why. I just can't understand why these people would fear the beauty of the tentacle. I mean, the tentacle only wants to spread love to the entire world.
But the monster puss has loved us from afar since we were amoebas. Only when the space anomaly opened could it finally express 1 billion years of longing.
Heck, even trying to escape the tentacle leads to love in some form, as it's while hiding out that Brannigan is able to give poor Amy the passion she has failed to experience since the passing of her husband. And of course then the tentacle is right there to embrace them as well. But for reasons I just cannot fathom, Leela refuses to embrace the tentacle and keeps trying to find some ways to stop it. Even as one by one her friends learn to love the tentacle.
The monster puss has revealed unto me its name.
What is our love's name?
Yivo. Yivo is the lover of all beings, male and female. But Yivo has no gender. Thus, Yivo has proclaimed that instead of he or she, we are to use the word shkli. And instead of him or her, we are to use the word shklim.
See? Yivo was the precursor to all the wonderful additional genders that now swarm all over the digital world.
Yivo talks a lot about love, but what he's actually doing
What Shklee's actually doing?
is mating with you. These aren't tentacles, they're genticles.
Ah, oh, God! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Guys, get this thing ripped out of my neck and then prepare a bathtub full of Lysol! Okay, explaining this part of the plot is going to force me to work around some pretty delicate issues. I get the feeling that some people might try to equate what Yivo was doing to sexual assault, but I really don't think that's what the writers were trying to do. They were trying to equate Yivo's actions with using another person just for a casual, consensual lay, as it were, because that's what Yivo thought love amounted to before learning there was more to it and really did want to befriend everyone. But yeah, the execution of all of this is kinda skeevy. And then the next part of the movie is when it gets really weird. It's about Yivo and the people of the universe trying to start over with a casual relationship and him eventually dating the world, and then Fry decides they should break up with Yivo because they can't get a full commitment from him after one date. Geez, Fry, have you become that desperate now after Colleen? But then Yivo pulls the big surprise. Yeah, he proposes to the entire universe. This movie is taking the concept of pansexual to a whole other level. Meanwhile, Bender has usurped control of the League of Robots and decides the time to overthrow humanity has come, going so far as to request a damned army from Robot Satan himself. Which leads to one of the most morbidly humorous moments in any show I've ever seen.
And in return, I ask just one thing. Your firstborn son.
Here you go.
Wow! That was pretty brutal even by my standards.
No backsies.
You know, I don't think that would be half as funny if it wasn't Bender. So Bender's ready to take over the world, but it's too late because everyone in the world has decided to move in with Yivo. And then we get the rapture. No, seriously, a bunch of ladders descend down to bring everyone to Yivo's world, which is actually what the Renaissance artists painted to represent heaven.
Let me come with you.
I'm sorry, Bender. Robots don't go to heaven.
I'll be your friend, Bender. No one understands me either. You, me, the robots, and the cats will all be friends and rule this world together. Leela continues to be skeptical of Yivo, even as everyone else is in paradise, but she eventually accepts him because reasons. And just then, Bender invades Yivo with an army of robot pirates by dragging Yivo through the rift into their universe. I should probably complain about why this is happening now, but it's an army of robot pirates captained by Bender. The only thing more awesome would be ninja zombies. Actually, no, that wouldn't be more awesome because it wouldn't have Bender! Anyway, it turns out Bender was drawn to go rescue Fry from Yivo because his jealousy overcame him thanks to a letter Fry sent him. Unfortunately, finding out about that letter breaks Yivo's trust in humanity and he breaks up with everyone. I'd say they were going for an ironic full circle thing here because of how Fry broke up with Colleen, especially since Colleen is the only human Yivo agrees to keep, but it just seems hypocritical that Yivo would break up over a letter after he was essentially boinking the entire universe.
Save you! Ah!
And the movie ends with everyone depressed because they lost paradise and the supposed love of their lives, but Bender tells them to just snap out of it because they don't know what love really is.
We were all so happy.
And we were in love.
That wasn't love.
What? How can you say that?
Because Bender knows love. And love doesn't share itself with the world. Love is suspicious. Love is needy. Love is fearful. Love is greedy. My friends, there is no great love without great jealousy.
Jeez, why did I spend so much time reading Dr. Ruth when I should have just been listening to the robots about love? So yeah, upon further review, I guess this one wasn't as good as I originally thought, mainly because the plot is all over the place. It's like they had the scripts for 3 individual potential episodes and merged them together to form one movie without really checking to see how they could really mesh. And they tried to go for a whole what does love really mean message and how you deal with loneliness, but the way they handled it was just kinda really creepy. I'm still not sure it's the worst of the Futurama movies, but it's definitely got a lot of problems. Still, it is Futurama, and thus it's still a lot better than a lot of the other adult animated shows out there, so I've definitely seen worse. Oh well, back to ripping South Park next week, everybody!